Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a super fascinating, totally science-backed look into the world of hair care. If you've ever felt like your daily routine just isn't giving you the results you actually want, well, you are in the right place. We are doing a deep dive into Dr. Groot's clinically developed line today, and the science we're about to unpack, it could completely change how you view your hair.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever wondered why regular shampoos so often fail us? I mean, we buy them because they promise massive volume, or total repair, or high-gloss shine, but we just end up dealing with the exact same issues over and over again. The reason for this is actually kind of simple. Traditional hair care focuses almost entirely on washing the hair strand itself, completely ignoring the actual root of the problem. Literally.
So that brings us to a massive paradigm shift in the beauty world right now, which is treating your scalp exactly like you treat your facial skin. Dr. Groot's entire product line is built from the ground up on this foundational shift. And, think about it logically. If your scalp is clogged or dry or just irritated, how can it possibly grow healthy hair? It's like trying to grow a beautiful garden in terrible soil. Treating the scalp with clinical skincare level attention isn't just some nice bonus. It's the absolute prerequisite for resolving persistent issues like thinning, excess oiliness, and breakage.
All right, so here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We just talked about the scalp care paradigm shift. Next up, we'll cover hair thickening, then purifying clay, bond fortifying, a head-to-head comparison of Dr. Groot versus regular shampoos, and finally, we'll look at real reviews and give you our final verdict.
First up, Section 1, hair thickening and stopping breakage.
The science here is driven by four absolute heavy hitters. First off, we've got Biotin, which provides crucial structural support for healthy-looking hair. Then, these really cool encapsulated prebiotics step in to actively nourish the hair follicles themselves. You've also got rosemary oil to invigorate the scalp environment. And finally, caffeine. And no, not for drinking. The caffeine acts as this powerful delivery system to push those nutrients directly to the root. Plus, and this is a big plus, the entire formula is totally free of parabens, silicones, and sulfates.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the results. They are absolutely massive. We're talking an 82.2% reduction in hair loss due to breakage. And listen, this isn't just some clever marketing claim. This is the actual result of a 2-week clinical test where subjects used the full scalp revitalizing regimen. That is a dramatic, highly measurable retention of hair that would have otherwise just snapped off and ended up stuck in your hairbrush.
But the benefits actually go way beyond just stopping breakage. Check out this incredible metric. A 169% improvement in scalp hydration. I mean, wow. This perfectly proves that the whole skincare for the scalp concept yields serious, measurable moisture. In fact, by hydrating the scalp this effectively, 100% of the subjects in their clinical trial showed a measurable improvement in visible scalp redness that was caused by dry skin.
Moving right along to Section 2, purifying clay for banishing oil.
So the secret weapon here is an oil-banishing complex that relies on 3 distinct kinds of really fine clay: white clay, herbal clay, and glacial clay. Because each of these clays has completely different mineral properties, they basically team up. They work together to absorb oil and draw out impurities way more effectively than a single clay formula ever could. It's also paired with salicylic acid to cleanse those clogged pores, and biotin to make sure the follicles stay fully supported. The absolute brilliance of combining these specific ingredients is that it balances out the oiliness right at the root, without creating that dreaded dry roots versus parched ends problem. We've all been there, right?
To truly see just how powerful this complex is, let's look at the clinical data. We are looking at a 92% purification of microdust from the scalp, leaving only a tiny 8% of impurities behind. And honestly, the most impressive part? This massive clean slate reset of the scalp environment was achieved after just one single use, one wash.
All right, on to Section 3, bond fortifying and repairing damage.
So the crucial point here is how 2 specific ingredients, keratin and silk protein, work together in total harmony. Keratin is the powerhouse, right? It immediately begins strengthening those broken hair bonds and smoothing the strand right from the very first wash. Meanwhile, the silk protein is working right alongside it to gently detangle, lock in vital moisture, and visibly improve elasticity. Put them together, and they are essentially rebuilding damaged hair from the inside out.
And the clinical metric backing up this formula is just highly impressive. Hair damage improved by 1.5 times compared to untreated hair.
What's truly notable here, though, is that this produces a visible, totally noticeable improvement in smoothness and softness immediately. You literally do not have to suffer through weeks of product buildup or weird trial periods to finally see a change in how your hair looks and feels.
Let's move to section 4 and see how this builds into our next topic, Dr. Groot versus regular shampoos.
When you look at them side by side, the differences here are just night and day. Dr. Groot's primary goal is treating the scalp and actually strengthening the follicle using targeted actives like biotin, caffeine, clay, and keratin. Regular shampoos, on the other hand, almost entirely focus on just cleansing the hair strand with really basic surfactants. Plus, budget formulas often rely heavily on silicones just to temporarily mask the feel of damaged hair. Ultimately, regular shampoos are going to give you a brief surface-level fix, while Dr. Groot acts much more like a targeted prescription for your scalp condition, delivering really specific, measurable clinical outcomes in just 1 to 2 weeks.
Which brings us to our final stop, Section 5, Real Reviews and our final verdict.
Let's start by looking at some actual social proof. Here's a verified Amazon customer who noted, after using Dr. Groot shampoo for just 2 weeks, hair shedding was greatly reduced. And you know, this directly echoes a massive trend we're seeing among buyers on both Amazon and LG Beauty. Users are consistently thrilled by how quickly they notice a real reduction in shedding alongside hair that just feels markedly softer and way healthier to the touch.
Jumping over to the Reddit community, we see a very similar consensus starting to emerge. Lots of users shared that it helped reduce oiliness and brought better volume to thin hair. However, just to maintain a completely impartial and balanced view here, the community also noted that while it works really well for many, some folks did experience dryness with frequent use. And I think that's an excellent reminder that results can naturally vary, right? Adjusting your wash frequency might just be necessary depending on your unique scalp baseline.
And this brilliantly illustrates our final authoritative review, which comes from Jennifer Romolini, the senior beauty editor over at Yahoo Shopping. After actively experiencing hair thinning herself, she tested the formula and reported hair looked visibly fuller, felt softer, and had more volume and bounce. She specifically praised how well the shampoo cleansed buildup without ever leaving her hair feeling stripped or heavy, which really thoroughly validates the product's overall efficacy from an expert's perspective.
So all of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. Is it time to finally treat your scalp like your skin? If you are tired of temporary fixes that just sort of coat the hair strand and completely ignore the root cause, it might be time to completely rethink your foundation. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, keep looking closely at the science, and I'll see you next time.